We will call the meeting to order and open up the budget hearing for comments, right? Any comments? Budget.
Well, I'll give him a couple of minutes.
Okay. I'll sign more checks. Maybe Mike has a comment about the budget?
Are you okay with the budget, Mike?
With the budget, yeah.
The budget's up, hearing is
Yeah,
open.
this is our budget hearing, so you got anything to say about it?
Not enough money?
Is there ever? But I did want, and it's not on the agenda, but I did talk to Nina, and I know she's busy, but I was gonna talk to you all about maybe Mandy's been with me for a little over a year actually, and so I was gonna see about maybe bumping her up a little bit. She has done very well, I think. Mary kind of had a little experience at the courthouse and knew some things, and Mandy was kind of fresh, and she has done a really good job. I mean, she's taken everything I've told her as far as what to do, how to do things, and taken it and ran. And I have zero complaints. She works pretty hard. Anytime she ever takes any time off to take a kid to the doctor or something, she always is so apologetic about it. And I'm like, you've got vacation time. Do what you need to do. It's okay. I've got the tax paperwork, the pleadings. She put it all together. I mean, she did. I'm tickled pink with her. So I just thought after she stuck it out, and I think she's going to stay with the county for a while. And so very happy with her. I'd just like to bump her up a little bit if that's okay. I talked to Nita, and apparently it's well within the budget, so I'm not asking for any extra budget money or anything like that. It's all within mine, but I just wanted to.
You have a specific amount or?
Yeah, let's finish the budget hearing first, so we don't get sidetracked.
Can we adjourn?
You just need to close the hearing.
Okay, we will close the budget
Then I
hearing.
need a motion.
I make a motion that we close the budget hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the budget hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Instead of stating the dollar amount, we'll just vote on this as like a step raise.
No, you need to approve the 2021 budget.
Okay.
Then we have to open the county commission.
You have to approve the 2021 budget.
I make a motion that we approve.
Hold on just a second.
Thank you.
Okay, now we will open the regular county commissioner meeting.
Okay. I make a motion that we approve the 2021 budget.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the 2021 budget. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay,
I'm gonna do the minutes now. Can I do them all as one deal?
yep.
I will make a motion that we approve the minutes for the special meeting on August 14th, the special meeting on August 12th, and the August 12th regular commissioner meeting.
Second.
You got three of them in there?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the special meetings and the regular meetings, all three of them. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay. So we really do not have anything till Carolyn.
Do you want to do Mike's deal? Or wait for him to get back?
Wait till he gets back. He has the paper.
Morning, Julie.
And at the same time, I want to do step increase. Did you bring those, Nate?
Yeah, we need to talk about those. You can recess if you want to.
We will recess. You want to do that first?
However you want to put it. It doesn't make me any difference
Let's
either
do the
way.
executive session first.
5 minutes, you said?
I'm sorry?
5 minutes?
5, yeah.
I make a motion that we go into executive session for 5 minutes for client,
Attorney-client.
attorney-client privilege.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to go into executive session for 5 minutes for attorney-client privilege with county attorney and Nita and commissioners. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Pass on that now.
We can.
Okay, we'll go back in, David.
Go ahead.
That was issued a week ago today.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve the step increase for Mandy Sanders in the county attorney's office, going to from range 4, step 3 to range 4, step 5.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move Mandy Sanders from range 4, step 3 to range 4, step 5. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Carol's not there yet. I hope she's not late, because that's going to push everything else.
No incarcerations payments this pay period? I didn't see any. No jail time?
They're just putting this on notice that we're going to make everything back.
Well, they're gonna demolish, but I still think the backpackers are over on. Well,
Well, they'll pay them all, because we've done that in the past. So I was just gonna let them look at it.
okay. Usually,
Yeah, another copy. City of St. John sent this over. They've got some more houses they're wanting to abate off, and I'm sure there's taxes due. I didn't look them up.
heard about what, 6 or 8?
There's several in there.
Yeah.
Well, he's looking at that and we're waiting.
On the agenda, it's the trip, are you guys still going to Hudson?
Okay.
The only advice or thought I had is, I mean, if you're gonna buy the building, my only question is, are you buying a nuclear waste dump site? Is the ground contaminated in any way that you're gonna have to get with the EPA? And, I mean, I doubt it, but I'm just bringing it up. Every now and then you get on it used to be a gas station or a dry cleaner or something like that, and if the ground's contaminated, you're obligated to clean it up, and that can get expensive, so I doubt it, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Should they have it tested?
They can do, I think it's called like a phase 1 test or something. I mean, it's like, kind of like a preliminary test,
Yeah.
But you guys might get up there and look at the building and say, we don't want anything to do with this, but if you do, I'm just saying, that might be a condition condition of the agreement to buy is that it pass a preliminary test.
I know a lot of co-ops that are purchasing property won't ever do anything without testing ground stuff.
You know, you buy it and 5 or 10 years later, you find out and you go, oh crap.
Yeah. Yeah, we had one of those one time when a co-op worked. You can't, because especially an underground storage place,
Yep.
you better check it out. That gets very expensive to clean that up. We are ready, Carolyn.
Okay. Two things here. Okay. One is the selection of the administrator for the community development block grant. Special CD round. So the request for administrators, not only asked them to give a proposal that specifically, give a written proposal, but it also provided this matrix for how the proposals would be evaluated. So we got 2 proposals, one from Great Plains Development, one from Branson City Code, which I feel like I may have heard of the name Rosemary Sanders, is one of their principals. I've never had any occasion to work with them before, and we pay fees to Great Plains Development to, be able to provide, to be available to provide services to the county. So we do need to score them. I didn't print off, maybe I should have. They're like 18 pages each. So I thought maybe we could pass them to each other to quickly review. But for what it's worth, I think my take on it is that they're probably both qualified to do the job. But I wouldn't have even known what the process is for correctly doing the selection of an administrator for this program if Great Plains Development hadn't been available to, not only tell me what the process is, but provide the matrix that you need to use and a sample letter of solicitation of proposals and so forth. So from that perspective, my take on it is the past performance of the firm might garner some extra points for that, or previous.
And that's who's helped you out in the past, right? And that's who's helped you out.
Yeah, like, for example, I gave 3 or 4 calls to the Kansas Department of Commerce asking for a verification of the process, because I know that this is a very structured program that requires documentation of each step. The Department of Commerce never called me back. I never got the information I needed from the Department of Commerce, but Great Plains Development was available and provided those kinds of forms. So I think that has some value that we might consider in scoring that.
I would think so if you don't hear from one.
So is this the scoring sheet that you need to use?
Yes.
Or that we all
Yeah,
need to use?
you do.
I mean, I felt like it's not my role to actually do the selection. I can provide you some information, maybe make a recommendation, but maybe the simple thing is if we agree to put a score in, for Great Plains Development in each of those, and then rank them, and I've got some kind of documentation on file then.
So you need to have 3 of these for all 3 commissioners, and
Or can you do it
Just
together?
do it together and tell you a number?
However
Okay.
you.
I mean, I would say if you've worked with Great Plains Development, if that's, and you've had good success with them, I mean, that would,
I know the guy from the Department of Commerce, and if he hasn't responded to you, I wouldn't give him very high ranking.
Well, no, the Department of Commerce is where the money actually is being provided from. The issue is like, I wanted to make sure that we were correctly in compliance with that, with Department of Commerce on how to select a grant administrator, what, what the structured procedures are. And they did, the Department of Commerce did, so I was really kind of relying on the type of firm that can be an administrator. So,
We need to go ahead and get to work on this because we've got people coming to the
Yeah.
discussion in about 4 or 5 minutes.
Well,
So
it
you
appears,
have,
I would give all of them a very high ranking that maybe consider giving Great Plains Development a slightly higher ranking in past performance of firm or firm's knowledge of project procedures, such that their score ends up being higher.
and it appears to me that their projects are more or less in our region.
Yeah. So accessibility of firm's office might also be a factor to score as well.
I would go with Great Plains, in my opinion.
I would agree with that.
So if we did say 10 on number 1 for each of them,
I'm tired of this.
10 for each of them on ability to perform the services. Past performance of firm, maybe a 10 and a 9.
Yeah.
Staff's training, schools attendance, I mean, kind of, they both obviously have training, I don't know if you want to do 10s or whatever, 5s.
If they're doing what's required.
Okay, that, same with previous experience, they both obviously have a listing of past projects that are in the CDBG program.
what are you looking for?
I just want to know how to spell that.
And it would seem to me on number 7 that they would be more, available
Accessible.
to.
So what numbers do you think?
98.
A 9 and a 7?
That'd be fun.
Okay. Firm's knowledge of project procedures,
10.
Same number.
and references,
Same
I
number.
think they understand,
7 and a 7?
yeah.
Okay.
Nita, you want this back?
The city has, yeah.
Okay, so that gives Great Plains Development a 62,
Yeah.
and Ransom a 60,
Hey, wait a minute.
and Great Plains Development
Okay,
would therefore be the winning proposal.
it's good to me.
Okay,
Sign
you
it.
don't mind signing it? And the other thing I'd like to squeeze in here is that Golden Belt Telephone is putting together a proposal for Round 2 Spark to improve infrastructure in Stafford County. What they're asking for is $400,000. That would be a part of an $800,000 investment in the county. And they're asking for letters of support in the county. So the one I wrote, drafted for your consideration to sign, is it says, "We are writing to express our support for Golden Belt Telephone's application to the Spark 2 program for expanding internet infrastructure in Stafford County. A number of our constituents throughout our county, including city leaders, have expressed that this is a priority for them. There are limitations on coverage for reliable and high-speed internet service, and it is an ongoing limitation for remote work, remote school, and telehealth. We were not able to address all communications needs in the Spark 1 allocations to the county. Therefore, we urge you to approve GBT's application to more fully provide internet access throughout Stafford County. you're comfortable with that, I'll ask the chairman to sign.
Is that okay? Agreeable to talk?
Sound good?
Oh, my letterhead?
It is, yes, and it's publisher.
It's fine, I know.
You want to make a motion on that? I got it.
You probably better.
Yeah, let's make a motion.
I make a motion that we allow the chairman to sign this agreement with the Kansas Department of Commerce and the Spark Review Committee.
Sorry.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to allow the chairman to sign the letter to the Spark Review Committee trying to improve internet service in the second round of Spark. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Okay, thank you much.
Yep. Carolyn, did we talk last week about doing the Port Authority nominations this week or not? Or is there any hurry about that? With everything else I did.
You know, we got so much stuff going, unless it's a die-hard deal, I just soon wait a little while until.
It is on my list today to try to connect with Bob North, who's the general counsel at Commerce. It's actually in a separate category than their business funding or telecommunications funding. There's actually a portion of funding that is for supply chain disruptions. There's an emphasis in it, though, on reshoring, so trying to bring companies into the United States that are currently located overseas. I'm not sure we're going to fit that category neatly, even though we can make a case for this proposal being connected to supply chain logistics. I think the best we can hope for is asking for $50,000 for engineering and legal fees, and I'll see if they'll entertain that idea. And then with that, I don't know if we need to apply under the county's umbrella or the Port Authority itself. We could probably make a case for either one. The other thing is that they've really kind of structured that application to be a business that applies. So maybe we ask, we've got a grain business that's actually right now facilitating conversations with me and BNSF. So tomorrow I have a call with a combination of BNSF's Economic Development Director for the Southern Region and their Director for Industrial Development, which oversees a process of site certification, which would be magnificent if we could have them in, basically when you get a certified site, they're saying that they're willing to serve that. It meets all of their requirements. And so recruiting additional companies to those sites becomes a much more clear-cut kind of process. I don't know if I could get BNSF to apply, is where I'm going with that. If a business applies as opposed to our county entity. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that. If, for example, if I proceed to look into whether this could be applied for under the county's umbrella, would that be something you would look at favorably, or, just applying for engineering and legal fee money?
I mean, I guess if you apply for it under the county and then we end up getting it, then the county will just turn it over to the Port Authority.
I would assume where you just, the county, the engineering, and at some point the port takes the next steps.
That might be the
Is this
easiest deal.
100% or are we going to
Yeah.
come up with some?
It is, it's my understanding. These are grants without
You guys
match
should
requirements.
start thinking about that too.
Yeah.
I think it'd probably be okay, but I do think that eventually I'll go over to the Port Authority. that on the agenda or just
Put-
stall it for the?
Put, you mean like nominations on the
Yes,
agenda?
Yes. Want to do that next week?
Yeah, I guess, or if we're not going to meet right away, do we do that right away?
Unless we have something to meet about, I don't know why we make appointments. I mean, I don't know what we're gonna have on the agenda for next week, but it don't matter to me one way or the other. I don't know I don't think there's a hurry on the deal. Because, I mean, unless we come up with some grant funding, there's no reason for the board to authority to even meet.
Okay, so I'm hearing not next week. Is
That's
that,
fine.
is that,
Let's don't forget that.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to pursue the bylaws, get an interpretation of the bylaws,
yeah,
okay?
okay.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
You want, Carolyn, you want to, oh, no,
Okay.
Anita does.
So you'll want a copy for your records or?
No, you keep all that, I don't need it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, the next thing is for talk about the mitigation plan. Does somebody want to tell all the group in the back,
You can let them all in, it's more than 15.
is it more than 15? If they're socially distanced.
There's a group out there.
I have a letter from Shannon she wants read before you guys even start.
Okay, I think as long as they're socially distanced, which looks like we got plenty of room, if we got chairs, that's fine.
Well, I'm saying,
Bring them on in, tell them social distance.
Or you got limit each of them to so many minutes.
Yeah, 3. You want to do that very first? Okay, we will go ahead and get started on the mitigation plan. I've had a number of people that have called me, and I think it's the best if we're making comments for everybody to hear them. I'm glad you have come. We need to hear from everybody. The 3 people that we had on the agenda first would be the superintendents. But first, Nita had a letter or a statement that she would like to read from Shannon.
Here are some of my thoughts after the past couple of weeks. We've had a significant increase in cases for Stafford County. These cases have affected a broad range in ages, from teenagers up to the 70s. When our COVID lunch group met to work on ideas for county mitigation, everyone seemed to be on the same page. I took thoughts, ideas, and reasons from that plan and compiled them from that meeting and compiled them into a plan. The plan was presented, okayed, and then edited by the commissioners and myself as we saw the increase in positive case numbers. I have worked extremely hard on every single plan that I have presented to the commissioners. I know that every decision has a ripple effect. I am constantly reading updates, watching webinars, and reading research as I am doing my job through this pandemic. This is uncharted territory, and I have done the best with what I am given. To some, this hasn't been up to par. My staff and myself have worked on keeping all of our other services running through all of this as well. Our workload has increased immensely. I spoke with each school district as we had numbers increase to the point of requesting a 2-week pause in extracurricular activities. Each superintendent said that they would let the staff know, and there wasn't an issue or protest through the schools. This has caused a sense of outrage with large amounts of our county parents in particular, and that was not what I had intended. I am simply trying to keep the schools open for in-person learning. I've also been told by several people that the things that have been put out by the health department have been contradicted when they have made phone calls to other sources in Stafford County. This doesn't put forward a cohesive front, and it frankly isn't helpful when we are trying to do a big job in keeping everyone safe and healthy in our community. My staff and myself have fielded hundreds of questions from the public and have been treated in a manner that is appalling in some cases. We have had a lot of people call with questions and behave kindly, but there has been quite a bit of hate and discontent spread on us lately. I've decided that if the school districts would like to call and ask us questions about things, that is fine, but I will not be telling them what to do. They have guidance from KSDE, KSHA, and are able to see our updates and KDHE updates on cases. They have worked hard on their plans for each of their districts and have those plans in place to move forward. We will continue to communicate with the districts on positive cases and contacts of positives to keep the learning environment as safe as possible. After having another discussion with the lunch COVID group and school superintendents that were in attendance, we have come to the agreement of the edited plan that will be presented. Sincerely, Shannon Snyder, Stafford County Health Department Administrator.
Thank you, Nita. Josh?
Hey, hold on. Before we get going, I don't know if everybody in here has seen the revised version. Could you read what changes have been made, Kurt?
I don't actually have a copy of the very last one. I'll read the whole thing, or
Yeah,
just the
just read
changes?
where we've changed the highlights.
Okay. I believe this is an agreement that was revised through Shannon and the superintendents. And the first sentence says that the decision of the Stafford County Board of Commissioners and the Stafford County Health Department, and this is the change, working closely with the superintendents of USD 349, 350, and 351, Stafford County will place the following revised mitigation procedures into place. The next change, after the mass gathering that we tweaked last week, it says mass gatherings of no more than 15 individuals allowed. Churches are exempt per federal Judge John Broom's decision as of 4/18/2020, and this is a change. The exception to this is that it will be at each school district's discretion as to class size to provide the best possible setting for the students in each learning environment. And then on the second page is what was said before on organized sports facilities and tournaments. It says organized sports facilities, tournaments, and practices shall be held at each school district's discretion, taking into account the safety of the student athletes. And then on large entertainment venues, I think it just said large entertainment venues before, and now it says large entertainment venues that are outdoors. Okay. Josh?
Yeah, to preface this, that order that was issued last week, I didn't know that was coming. So we saw it. It's an order from the county. We'll abide by it. So when the numbers hit 10, we just assumed we had to follow the order. That's what we did. And our conversations with Shannon said, yeah, we'll follow the order because that's what it says. So that's what we did. The two problems with the order that we had were the limits on group size. We feel we have a pretty good plan to keep kids in stable groups, meaning first graders stay with first graders. They go to lunch in the cafeteria and only eat with the first graders. But if we're limited to 15, I can't feed those kids in the same area. We can spread them out, we can stay apart. We think that's a pretty good plan. So having some leeway on that group size limit is helpful for us to run school. The other thing was the activities, letting our kids participate in activities. We considered at St. John, when these cases started hitting, that maybe we do need to pause our activities so we can get back to school, make sure we can get back to school. But we determined that we didn't feel we needed to do that. We've been doing activities all summer in a safe manner. And the kids are still getting together. Just because we don't have practice doesn't mean the kids aren't going to get together. they're not spreading the virus through sports. They're spreading it by hanging out at a party or whatever. This document here shows the cluster cases by type from Kansas Department of Health and Environment. And just as an example, the corrections, they've had 13 outbreaks and over 1,200 cases, 17 hospitalizations, and 6 deaths. So it lists all these different areas: meatpacking plants, long-term care facilities. Sports, there's been 9 outbreaks and 67 cases, 0 hospitalizations, and 0 deaths. So that makes me feel comfortable that we can continue to do activities. We feel that if we can be in school, we can do the activities. This is our adjusted plan with the gating criteria from State Department of Ed. Based a little bit on the numbers that are in the county order also. So the gating criteria lays out county active case level, which is in your order, how many active cases there are in the county. For each school district individually, the staff and student active case level, the number of staff or students under quarantine orders, the active case trend, whether it's increasing or stable or decreasing, and our absentee rate for our staff and students. So taking all those things into account, we determine whether we're at green, yellow, orange, or red. So it's not just if there's 10 cases at the hospital or at a facility that has nothing to do with us. We can make that determination of what level we are based on all these other factors. So that's what we've come up with. And then that determines how we do the school environment, whether we're remote, whether we do activities, whether we allow crowds. The one thing I wasn't sure about is, we can have our kids participate and have them play games, but whether we can have a crowd in our gym, would that be subject to the county order on the limit of people gathering together? It would be hard for us to determine. We can put our kids together, we can play a volleyball match, but if we're limited to 15 people when we bring the public in, that's one question I didn't know how to answer.
I think we tried to answer that one last week with social distancing. If we can keep them apart. I know a lot of people are roping off every other row or something like that and keeping families together only, but I know that'd be a real headache and hassle. But
so the group size limit is not in a confined area. If you can say 6 feet
if you
apart.
can socially distance, yeah, right. That's the way, what I meant when we tweaked it, and that's the way I would interpret that.
I mean, I would think that would cover it where the schools are basically exempt from their own discretion. I mean, that's if you're on school property.
Right.
That's why I thought even last week, and that's mainly what we concentrated on, was trying to define that, because that's what I had a lot of questions on.
Right.
Is what is the definition of a gathering of 30?
Right.
Per building, per room, we defined it per room, and said if we couldn't social distancing, that would be a problem.
I should have said this at the beginning, but we have put, our school districts, our school staff, we put hours and hours and hours into coming up with these plans to get our kids back into school. That's the most important thing, that we get them back to school. I don't want to be accused of putting too much time into athletics and not enough into getting kids back to school, but that's been our focus. And sports are an important part of what we do. It's an extension of the classroom, and it matters. The kids need it. And you got a bunch here to probably tell you that. So we feel we can do it in a safe manner. We feel we've got a good plan.
Let's looks to me like you worked very hard at it. I got a plan. Other superintendents would like to say something?
If I understood your statement, Nina, when you read that, and maybe I misheard you, but what I think I heard was that you suggested or request that we shut down the basketball or football practices and stuff on Monday. I mean, it wasn't, when I got the call, it wasn't a request. It was, you told that, we are going to do this, that we are going to shut down. And when you look at the website and what's posted on there, when it says this, been adopted by the county commissioners and county nurse, I took that as gospel. And when I get the phone call that says we will shut down, we did what we were told.
She said, I spoke with each school district as we had numbers increased to the point of requesting a 2-week pause in extracurricular activities.
I'm sorry.
She requested a 2-week pause in
Is that what you
extracurricular
understood, Josh?
activities, is what she says here.
Well, I don't want to throw her in the bus. She's not here to defend herself. So anyway, we opted out of the governor's, which is a good thing. But for me and my district and for myself, I need help, guidance in figuring out exactly what these numbers are going to be if we start shutting down or what are we going to do. I'm not a medical professional, so I need to rely on the medical professionals in the district, or in the county. I don't know what the exact number needs to be, but I'm going to rely on Shannon and hopefully have the support of the commissioners in whatever it is that we're going to implement. So, I need some consistency there to make sure we're all on the same page. I echo exactly what Josh, everything that he has said. We're not here for the athletics. We're about school, and that's where we need to start with this. The only, and it was brought to my attention just this morning on the update on the change that we did, under that part where it says 10 or more active, and that's where we put the exception into the rule besides the class. I don't have that option under the first one where there's 4 or more, because it says 30. So I need to have that option to have more than 30 in that, because I'm going to have choir and some classes like that are more than 30. And also, when we were talking about that 15 limit, that's just going to be next to impossible, because a lot of my classes, I have like 1 or 2 that are underneath that limit, which won't be a problem. But when you have 16, 17, 18 in a class, and you're going to try to figure out who you're possibly going to pull out of that class, and then we're talking about rotating through this. If you rotate them, as soon as you take those handful out of the class and you throw them back in that classroom, if anybody has anything, you just, you expose all of them. So it's not going to do any good to pull that handful out. So the exception to the rule is a good thing, and we support that.
So I think what you're saying on our first, if we go over 4 cases before we get to 10, and there's
Well, if we could just add that same statement.
this same statement that we put here, put it up here, where it's, the schools are exempt, whether it's 4
You
or
still have
10.
that ability to adjust, to make the exception to the rule.
I think that's our intent.
Yeah.
But if you read it, it's
Yeah,
actually,
I know.
it's more restricted on the first one than it is the second one. I don't have the flexibility that
Yeah.
go to 30 in that first hotel.
That's what we've been trying to do, to make it clear all the way through as much as possible.
Okay.
Scott, got anything?
So we're up to 13 cases now. We're 13 cases now, as of today. But the exception to this, it will be at each school district's discretion as to class size to provide the best possible setting for the students for each learning environment. That's your job, right?
Correct.
That's what we're going. We're
And I
saying
appreciate that. I want that. I just want that same flexibility in that, I think.
If we go under 10, the way it's written, if you go under 10 and we go to 9 cases, then this doesn't matter, the exemption for the schools, then they're locked back down to 30.
And these recommendations are coming from KDHE. We didn't establish this. This is coming from PICO, so.
Well, am I expected in that first year then? Am I held in that 30 student count now?
I think we can add that second statement to the first one, so that's your discretion.
I don't have a problem with that, adding it to the first one.
Done deal.
All right. We'll put it on
Thank you.
both. Tracy?
So what are we going to do if we start getting cases in the school?
That's where this plan comes into play, where we look at, do we have cases in the school, do we have cases in our community, and then we make adjustments.
What does that mean? Make adjustments, what does it mean?
Well, depending on whether we're sending one class home, or whether we're sending the whole school home and learning remote for a couple of weeks, or whether we're in a hybrid mode where half the kids are learning at home and half are at school, try to keep them apart a little more. It'll just depend on the circumstances. So what we adjust is how we do school and whether we are having games and practices.
In other words, you don't know.
I don't know how it's going to go. No, I've got a 15-page plan that will be adjusted as we go, and I've got 2 pages of it is what happens if somebody in the school district tests positive, and the measures we take to disinfect and isolate the student and contact trace, and it's.
And you can call an emergency meeting of your board anytime you
Yes.
want to, and publish it.
Right. So what are we going to do here at the county if we have 100 cases pop up tomorrow? Do we know that? Do we know exactly what we're going to do? Try to plan
Everybody
the
needs
best
to
we can.
realize this is a fluid situation, and I mean, every week's a learning experience.
Right.
You know, we can't just make one deal and just expect that we're never going to have to change or never have to talk about it again.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this probably won't be the last meeting that you guys are in here with us. But do those changes that we've made here today, or that we are going to make, I mean, are these suitable? With that exemption that is for over 10, if we put it up there, up here, you know, on the 4 or more, would that be
You know,
suitable?
I wish I could tell you if you did that, we're good, and we don't ever have to address that again, but like you said.
Would it address your concerns today?
As
Okay.
of today, though, that's would be acceptable.
I think we're good, are we not?
Okay.
But your masks, your 6-foot distancing,
In our
and
plan,
clean hands.
in our plan, I mean, we're pretty much doing everything in the governor's executive order except the pre-K-12 mask. We're still going to require masks, but, I mean, everybody's not being masked when they show up. We're going to do temperature check when they come in the door. We're not serving breakfast in the morning. We're going straight to the classrooms. They're small size and they can social distance. When in the classroom where they can spread out, they can slip the mask off while they're in the classroom. Anytime they leave the classroom, go out in the hallway, transition to music, art, anything like that, they're expected to be in mask. Even though we've got the flexibility with the 30-person rule, lunch is still going to be an issue, so we've made arrangements. We're going to start off doing sack lunch kind of meals where they can come in. The weather's decent, we let them go outside and social distance. We've got plans where we can, keep a portion of them inside the lunchroom, part of them can go outside, part of them go down to the gymnasium. It would not be smart, in the middle of this, to take 140, 150 junior high school kids and take them down to the lunchroom like we normally do. So we're making those adjustments. But, I feel good about our plan, and I'm guessing if it wasn't appropriate, we would have heard something. But,
We're up to 15 active cases today. 2 more than yesterday.
Right.
Oh, it keeps going up.
Any other comments? We'd like to limit it to 3 minutes, but I'd open it up to any other comments.
Does the superintendent of the staff?
Yeah, sure.
No, I'm going to say we're supporting the same plan there. One of the comments was if there was a way to have that flexibility in the community, and that's what our board said, because our kids have been together, the athletes, through the summer. But we have the same safety measures. We're doing smaller groups. We've created other rooms to separate them, to have school go as long as possible, but we have limited the number of kids and adjusted our meals just like they did too. But this does allow us to maybe continue a little bit more as the cases grow in the county. So.
Personally, I think the folks at school know a whole lot more about how to run the school safely than I do. And I've been at school a few years too, but I still don't. I think you've got a good plan and just need to stay on top of it.
Well, we can make policies or rules, whatever, as far as, how we're going to get them in, how we're going to temperature check. We can handle that part of it. But it's the numbers that I struggle with, because I don't know where that magical point is where you say, that's it. Strictly remote from that point on. I just don't know where that is.
Right now, our numbers are lower than any other county around us, so it's not good, but they are lower. But it might change too.
And things change, and, we did the parent survey like everybody else did. Our numbers from our parent survey is unanimous. They want the kids at school.
And we're doing a hybrid model a little bit, just to be able to try to have school as long as we can. We were following the numbers as they were going too. And it's a hardship on the families to create if their student is in school a half a day, because we're having to have those numbers. One of our class sizes is 27 kids. So, even with these numbers, we're trying to accommodate 15. So we're trying to recruit some other help for families because they can't work and have their child in school a half a day. But our original plan was to go all day with everybody, but it's just not possible. To also follow this, we're going to creating ways to help families out. Something we've never done before. Thinking outside the box every day. And I think we've adjusted 15 times since we got it. We only got it July 16th. That's only been 4 weeks ago. We appreciate being able to look at options, and once it hits the community, it'll be all remote, and we'll have to go, different plan. So,
I'd like to thank the superintendents. I can tell you've been working and thinking and doing the best you can to. Any other comments? Yes.
For those of you that don't know, my name is Scott Halser. I'm the principal at Maxville High School. Mr. Reinhardt mentioned that as part of our enrollment process, we submitted a parent survey to get their take on what they want for their kids, because ultimately that's who we're serving, is their kids. And when we got those survey results back, I was somewhat surprised by it. We got survey responses from 135 families in the Maxville School District. 131 of those families said they wanted their kids on site. Okay, they know the risks, they watch the news just like everybody else, they want their kids in the building. Okay, well, what about the teachers? We also surveyed our teachers with the same thing and said, okay, well, what do you want? Unanimously, all of our teachers said they want to be in the building. Okay? My own wife is a junior high science teacher over there. She is immune compromised, she is an asthmatic, she is a high-risk individual. She wants to be in the classroom with her students. So ultimately, that's the question here. Do we want our kids in the building? Is that what's best for them? And our parents say it is, our teachers say it is, the seniors that are here in the room, they want to be there. I can't ignore that. So I appreciate you taking the time to allow us some discretion in there, because I cannot function that high school with a 15-person limit. It can't be done. We've tried and tried and tried to fit that schedule in there. It cannot be done. So that discretion in there allows us to do what's best for our kids and bring them into the building. Thank you for giving us that opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments? Coaches?
I just got a statement here from the Maxville coaches. First off, I want to thank the superintendents. I know they work very hard in our county as well as thank you for all your hard work preparing for this. I know it's obviously uncharted waters, and we're all in this together. But our statement is, in order to educate our students, extracurricular activities are equally vital to the development of their character and their social-emotional development. These kids have been together all summer under coaches' supervision, lifting weights, conditioning, participating in camps and summer leagues. Precautions have been taken to mitigate the spread of COVID, which include temperature checks, disinfecting the equipment before and after use, social distancing, and the wearing of masks. Without these extracurricular opportunities, youngsters will decline in desire to attend school and keep their grades up. These kids want to be together. They have been together since Acacia opened conditioning June 1st, and have put in a lot of work to be a part of something bigger than themselves, a team. Regardless, life will go on for us coaches, but put yourself in the shoes of the high school senior that loses his or her final season. Decisions should be made with the students at heart. Over 70% of Maxwell High School student body is participating in football, cross country, or volleyball this fall, and 93% of the junior high students participate. Extracurriculars are incentives for our youth. Don't take that away from them. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much for your attendance. Anything else?
I do have one question.
Okay.
On the deal down here on the bottom where it says, large entertainment venues that are outdoors. On the first one, it was large entertainment venues that were indoors. And we kind of changed that to help with the Welch Farm out there where they have the big wedding venues and stuff like that.
Changed.
Pardon?
I changed it.
So it went from outdoors to indoors?
I put outdoors on. I just now changed it for you.
Okay. Large entertainment venues that are,
Outdoors.
Outdoors.
but that closes them, isn't it? Outdoor venues?
Do what?
We'd have this, all for activities and establishments not allowed to open large entertainment venues that are indoors.
Indoors.
Because Welch's is outdoors.
Except for those that are outdoors.
Okay, except for those that are outdoors? Okay. We change that, that's fine. Do we have any more discussion on that? You ready for a motion to accept it?
Sure.
I make a motion that we approve the second revised version of the Stafford County Health Department mediation procedures.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt the second revision of the Stafford County Health Department mitigation plan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Dave.
We're down to Misty.
She's out there. Yeah.
Hey, Misty.
Are we ready?
Good morning. I'd like to request an executive session for 5 minutes regarding non-elected personnel for ambulance performance matters.
For non-elected personnel.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we go into executive session for 5 minutes to discuss non-elected personnel,
Include mine.
including Mike, Anita, and Misty.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to go into executive session for non-elected personnel to include Misty, Mike, and Anita. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Session.
One person. Oh, okay. I thought you were already on.
All right, we'll go back in, David.
So your dilemma at Maxville is
Yes, Maxville will be limited service. We'll have one responder in the city of Maxville until September 1 that we're aware of. So I will keep you guys updated as to when they can come back on, but we'll have 3 after September 1 that will be staffing that medic unit, so.
If they don't pass by.
Yes. So,
But you could always use more volunteers.
yes, definitely. And like I said, we'll definitely be recruiting over there as much as we can for the next upcoming EMT class that will start in January. So we'll see what we can do up until that point.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Are you gentlemen wanting to go see the Hudson Building today, or?
Yep, I'd like to.
That's fine with me.
Yep.
Now, do we need to recess till then and then adjourn up there, or what?
Do I have to go?
Yeah.
Then you need to adjourn.
Legally, we can still go up. How about saying we would adjourn at 11? We're going to recess to go to Hudson, and the meeting will be adjourned at 11. Can we do that?
Yep. I don't see us making any
All right.
decisions or anything.
We'll do that.
Okay.